What's up, y'all? You know what time it is? It's about to be that time.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Assembled all 5 special cards, all 5 pieces of the puzzle.
It's not possible.
Obliterate!
Savage.
And we're back. One Piece. 1029 is out. We're going to focus on one specific aspect of this chapter and Wano at large. We're going to talk about Hawkins' tarot cards today. All right. I'm sure that a lot of, the other videos that have probably come out have focused on, the meat and potatoes. Big Willie Style. WillerSZN. Killer. Caught a fat W. Okay. Took Hawkins. This bum took him to the trash. Okay.
Savage.
Man, it feels good. I'm no tarot expert. In fact, everything that I've learned has been over the course of this weekend. Chrissy knows a bunch, and I also want to thank Barry Motivated in the streams and on the Discord for her write-up. I went even further, watched a bunch of videos, was reading a lot of articles, really learning about these decks so that I could talk to you today and really analyze what these tarot cards could mean. So of course the chapter is about the Tower card. There are several other cards that can be made out, and those are the ones we're going to get into today. Okay, so to start things off, we're going to take things back all the way to 913, and then we're going to loop it back to 1029. 913 was the first chapter where Luffy and Zoro run into Hawkins. It's also the first chapter that I could find where Hawkins actually used his tarot cards by name, showing us that these are actually cards from the major and minor arcana. The first card that he pulls is the Fool Reversed. Now, the Fool Reversed, according to him, represents infighting, and that's what we see in the chapter. His men start fighting each other randomly. In actual tarot, the Fool Reversed represents recklessness and risk, things that we would attribute Luffy to, right? And here he's pulling it in front of Luffy. And it should also be noted that the Fool card is the very first card in the Major Arcana deck and is considered the main character of the storyline throughout the tarot cards, similar to Luffy being our main character, full of recklessness and risk. Should be noted too that the second card in the deck is the Magician, which is Hawkins' epithet. That makes, there's no mistake there. That's Oda tying him more into tarot. I didn't put that together until just recently, but that's fun. Now, the second card that he pulls is the Hierophant Reversed. Now, Hawkins attributes this to, calls it a pursuit card, right? It tries to attribute it to Suru's arrival. But when you really get into what the Hierophant means in tarot, it's more about restrictiveness, rebellion, lack of freedom. Okay, so with that being said, here Hawkins pulls 2 cards, one representing Luffy and another representing Wano at large, which when we go to the Odin flashback later on, and now looking back at everything, what does Odin constantly say? That everything is too restrictive, right? He wants to open the borders and he wants to ease this restriction. So that's what I think that the overall meaning for the Hierophant Reversed is actually referring to, Wano at large. Opening the borders, the subversiveness of the people, under Orochi later on, and then now this rebellion at Onigashima. Now, during the fight with Killer, we see a whole bunch of cards. Only 2 are named: Tower and Death. Death is commonly known for its literal connotations, in the cultural lexicon of anybody that understands anything about tarot or just the fact that it exists. They probably know that there is a death card and that you don't want it. They probably look at it as a negative card, but there aren't actually any negative cards in tarot according to professionals that, do tarot readings. It's basically the way that you perceive it, right? But the death card can actually mean closing of one chapter, the opening of a new one, the death of an era, if we wanted to liken it to One Piece. The Tower card and the Death card go hand in hand, really, with the messages between both of them, because the Tower is symbolizing that, yes, something is going to happen. Great pain, great suffering, great tragedy, right? Kabuki plays. And we're in the third act, right? But that at the end of it, you will be better for it, right? You will overcome this obstacle that is being put into your life, and you'll be better for it. An example of something that the Tower card would be drawn in One Piece would probably be what happened at the archipelago, right? Everybody got decimated, but what was the end result? The Straw Hats split up for 2 years, and that was devastating and all of that, but they went and they got stronger, and when they got back together, there was a renewed growth. So I think that's an easy way to understand what the Tower card represents. So hopefully we are getting some sort of archipelago moment here that propels us into something better. Another example, would probably be the literal death of Whitebeard. Not that that's the actual thing, but Whitebeard's era ending and a new one starting, also sort of goes hand in hand with all of this. After Killer lands his decisive blow on Hawkins, which, by the way, very much resembles the attack that Zoro did on Hawkins in 913 that looked like it killed him and defeated him, but that's when we learned about his power. Killer cuts him the same way. That was just something interesting I noticed when I went back to 913. But when Killer lands this blow, 4 cards can be seen in the air. And again, thanks to Barry Motivated for, pointing these out and basically figuring out which ones these are. So first one we're going to talk about is the Sun. The Sun card represents success. Okay, so whereas the Tower card is letting us know that things are going to go wrong, the Sun card is letting us know that ultimately things will end up in our favor. Next is Strength, which mostly stands for, what its name is, the ability to withstand all of this incoming change, to embrace it, that you can take control of a stressful situation by handling it in a calm and logical manner, which Killer does. Maybe not our main character, so. Maybe Law. Above the Strength card is the Knight of Swords. Okay, this one was a little hard to make out, but once you see the horse, it becomes a little easier to discern. Now, this card represents an impulsive young man rushing into battle. All right, a foolish visionary rushing to war. So, of course, this could represent Luffy, but it could also represent Kid in a certain, to a certain degree. Next, the Ace of Swords signifies triumph, a card of great force. All these cards work together on an insular positive note, signifying Killer's win against Hawkins in the immediate, but on a larger level could speak to a win for the Alliance. Now, moving on to Hawkins, right? In his panel, we see 3 cards. 2 of these cards are reversed, one of them is upright. There's a little bit of a debate in the Discord that all of these cards are reversed. I personally think one of them is upright. The 7 of Wands represents exhaustion and a lack of conviction, which, of course, when we take a look at, this bum over here, we know that Hawkins has an extreme lack of conviction. All right. And we like conviction over here. Now, Judgment Reversed is all about self-doubt, right? And this is, in my opinion, Oda looking directly at Hawkins and saying, hey, Hawkins, you're a bum. You know you're a bum. Now is the time for you to reflect on your bumminess, okay? And when you wake up, maybe you'll choose the right side to be on, all right? This is the card that, if there's anything to foreshadow a heel turn, for Hawkins at the end, which many have predicted. Especially if that one card that is supposed to be, very powerful and power somebody up is actually going to come into play. Like, are we going to see, Hawkins show up at the last minute, like Arnold at the end of T2, just out of nowhere, and he's just got the card, and then that's how Luffy beats Kaido or something. I don't know. But either way, Hawkins could be a key component to winning if he turns. See if it happens. But this card could signify that. Lastly, the Nine of Swords brings this all full circle back to the tower. The Nine of Swords is considered the Lord of Cruelty. Okay, one of the worst cards that you can possibly get in a tarot deck. All right, it's part of the Minor Arcana. And the picture on the card is typically someone sitting on a bed, reflecting, and a bunch of swords sort of behind them, but, on a deeper level, it looks like they're poking them and, stabbing them. The idea of the card is that change through suffering is coming. It means that someone nearby is someone that you have wronged. And in this instance, Killer was wronged by Hawkins. Right? Killer was one of the masterminds for the alliance between Kid and Hawkins and Apu and Killer, and it's fitting that this bum gets taken out by Killer. Yeah. Ultimately, taking all of that into consideration, all of these cards, yes, a lot of this stuff can be said just for this fight. Okay, but we know Oda. He goes deeper than that, all right? This is the guy that, peppers foreshadowing into color spreads over a decade before anything ever means anything. Okay, so we should be able to come back to this chapter after Wano is concluded and say that these cards actually pinpointed and prophesized certain elements towards the end, right? Because when Hawkins says, tell me the end result of this battle, right? That could be for just his fight, with Killer. But it's so vague that it really could also be for the larger battle with the Alliance versus, the Yonko and now the looming world government. So there's a lot at play here, and I think that there is a deeper layer. I think that this is meant to prophesize a win for the Alliance after a great loss. Okay, so we haven't had that great loss, we haven't had that tragedy yet, we haven't necessarily had that tower moment, all right? And again, a tower-like moment would be what happened to the Straw Hats at the end of the archipelago. And then they went away, and they grew, and they came back, and it all worked out. I still feel like we're going to get something like that. Whether we defeat Kaido, and it's the world government or Big Mom that gives us that tower moment and not Kaido, and either Wano is saved or potentially Wano is not saved and gets annexed by the world government, then that puts a target on the world government, because now we have to take them down in order to restore Wano back to its people. So there's a lot here, there's a lot that could be thought about, but I wanted to bring these cards to your attention. Maybe someone else can put them together and theorize something even more. But these are definitely, in my opinion, the cards that are in this chapter. And that's going to be it. And be sure to join me next week. We're going to do it big. It's going to be the birthday stream. All right, my birthday is next Sunday, but we're going to stream on Friday with chapter 1030. My birthday is 1031, which... funny enough, the following chapter will, of course, be 1031, so it's like back-to-back birthday chapters. That's my number right there. So I'm excited. Anybody that's not born in November or December, you have a birthday chapter. All right, someone born in, March 10th, birthday chapter is 310, so on and so forth. Once chapter 1231 comes out, then everybody in the world will have a One Piece birthday chapter that you'll be able to attribute to. And yeah, so I'm excited for that. Stop by if you'd like. And that's gonna do it, guys. If you liked this, it was fun to do the research. I like chapters where I get to learn something new, something that I didn't know, and then apply it and bring it to you guys. So that was the fun part about this. But for more like this, like, comment, subscribe. I want to thank the new members that have come to the channel. Zoro's Sense of Direction, Munir Saman, Ajit Krishna, and Blazing Blue for joining the channel, Michael Lacoste for rejoining, and of course my guy Sensei Inc. for joining the channel. Check out his One Piece content. Check out his new channel, Sensei. All right, he's got great hood reviews going on right there. It's funny stuff. Go ahead, go check my man out. All right. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody that's a member. All 115 members that we have. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Okay. I've been Randy Troy, and thank you so much for hanging out. All right, later.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.